Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Powerless Podcast. In this episode, I talked to Anthony Copozzi, who is the vocalist and frontman of the metal band Loff out of the New York area. We talk about their latest record, Sonder, which just came out on January 21st. We break it down track by track, talk about the background and all the things and influences that came into the record, and of course the lyrics for each song as well. One that we dive into pretty deeply on this is their song Broken Mirrors, which features Jesse Leach, who is of course the vocalist of Killswitch Engage, along with many other projects that he does. Killswitch and Jesse Leach are both very iconic, very influential for this kind of music. And I think also if you're into bands that Jesse Leach is in, namely Killswitch Engage, you will definitely enjoy Lost Becomes. So we dive into all that, talk through the recording process, their writing, their influences, everything in between. It was really great to catch up with Anthony. This is the second episode he's done with me. You should definitely go check out the first one we did, where we kind of talked about his background in music and how the band got started, as well as this one. So yeah, just really appreciate that Anthony came back on to break this record down. It's absolutely fantastic. Only about 30 minutes long, 10 songs. Definitely a palatable one to check out if you've never checked this band out before. And listen through every song, because if you're into metalcore, Killswitch, things in that vein, you're going to absolutely love this record. Got some great bouncy riffs, some anthemic moments, some brutal breakdowns, the whole nine yards. Anthony himself singularly is a very, very accomplished vocalist, in my opinion. So hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks again to Anthony for coming on. Before we get into the episode, just as my usual plugs, follow on all social media at thepowerlesspod. Email me at thepowerlesspod@gmail.com if you want to be on the show, whether you're a musician or a journalist or a political commentator or a producer. We've had everything from the latest episode I put out with Joshua P.L., who is a Substack writer over at New Means, covers a lot of current events as well as sort of the organizing aspect of political force beyond electoral politics. Broke down another set of current events and things of that nature with Cran, who was on for the previous episode, who's part of the New Metal Agenda podcast. Talked about music, talked about Tim Lambesis, talked a bit about politics there as well, and kind of a lot of musicians' responses to things like Palestinian solidarity and things of that nature. Of course, I had a recent episode with my friend and at times co-host Alec, where we broke down the records of 2024. And of course, we've done a lot of lyric breakdowns, track by track breakdowns for a lot of great bands across genres over the past several months. We're getting close to 100 episodes, which is absolutely insane. So thank you for all of you that are listening. I do know from looking through things that we've gotten a few more listeners than we've had in the past over the past couple of episodes. So thanks for coming on. If you want to support the show, there is merch that has things like the logo in the back on it, and t-shirts and mugs and all that good stuff, as well as a Patreon. You can donate there for $2.50 a month. That's literally half than a cup of coffee, probably like an energy drink that you would get at a gas station for a month to support here. So I can use things like the recording platform I have, the editing platform, and all those good things. So thanks to everybody that supports. If you have not yet, follow all those things. The link tree will be below for all that stuff. And I'll stop rambling here more than I already have. Let's get into the episode with Anthony Copozzi breaking down Lost Becomes' latest record, Sonder, out now. Thank you so much.
Broken mirrors, tell me your biggest secrets. I'll break the vow we took. Broken mirrors, tell me your biggest secrets. I'll break the vow we took. Who's missing my reflection? I can't tell who's there. I'm feeling better now, but how? It seems to getting worse. Never worried until my explanation was due. I'm always wrong, who benefits all? Never worried until my explanation was due. I'm always wrong, who benefits all?
Also, my username on here shows the intro that I did of the last person. I'm really professional.
You're good.
But hang on, I'm gonna see. Can I change that? I can't change that. I'm gonna do that real quick. Hang on.
You got all the time in the world. I'm doing nothing.
No, you are on the grind of an acclaimed metal musician. You've got a million interviews lined up right after this, and I'm so appreciative of your time. You know, I'm gonna stop being an asshole here. But all right,
you good?
I'm here for the next episode of the Powerless Podcast. Returning guest Anthony from Lost Becomes out of New York. So happy to have you back on. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm dealing with this New York weather that's summer one day and winter the next.
Yeah, even over here in Northern Illinois area, like we've had a couple of pretty good weeks of like slightly above freezing temperatures, and starting this week we're supposed to just get like pummeled with nothing but like brutal snowstorms and sub-zero temperatures. It might mean I get snowed into my house and I can't go to work. Darn, you know what I mean? But that's
Cheers.
yeah.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers. There we go. All right.
What do you got? A PBR?
I got a bottled PBR. I'm classy over here. What you got there?
I got a canned garage beer. It's this new beer company I heard about from I listened to this toy company. Well, it's like a toy wrestling podcast with Matt Cardona and Brian Myers and Smart Mark Sterling.
Uh-huh.
As I have a ton of cat hair in my mouth, I'm sorry.
No, I'm the same way at all times with my animals. You're good.
We're dealing with I guess it's like a teenage, almost adult cat that was a kitten like 2 weeks ago. And now he's like, "What's up? I'm here, guys." And we're like, "You've been here." Whatever.
No, I mean, believe me, like it's one of the, I'm sure you empathize with this with having a cat. I have 2 cats and a dog that sheds. So
yeah,
in my place at all times, like I use like a hair squeegee, I vacuum, I do the whole 9 yards, and you turn around and your house is just still full of hair. You're like, well, luckily I'm not having anybody over, so it's
yeah.
fine.
The funny thing is, like, for someone that wears black clothing regularly,
Oh my God, yeah.
so my fiance found a cat on the side of the road while she was driving home from work, and he's white as a ghost. He's white and like tan. It's the weirdest thing. And I'm like, "Oh, we're fucked." I'm able to curse, right?
Yes, yeah, you could curse. No.
All right. But yeah, so now I'm dealing with this whole new, we have white hair everywhere.
What you gotta do as
So-
a metalhead with animals, what you have to do is own roughly 30,000 lint rollers, have them all
Yeah.
around your house at all times for when you're about to leave your house. That's the god tier there. But we're obviously here to talk about your new album Sonder that just came out a couple weeks ago. Absolutely fantastic record. Just like when I first got introduced to you guys and we first did our episode, God, almost over a year ago, I think now.
I think so.
Right? It was right when or right before LOF came out. That's what I remember, because I think that's the song that we put at the end of the episode when we
I
did
think
it.
LOF
I
was
might be
out
wrong.
the summer prior because we went out with God's Eyes and
Yeah,
we
that's
nerded
what it
out
was, because I
about
got in
them.
contact with you guys from God's Eyes. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, for me, it's like this little web of like when I connect with bands, you talk to a band, they tell you to check out another band, to check out
Dude,
another band,
that's-
everything in between,
That's how
but
it's done.
But it's fantastic for me personally, living in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, to get in contact with all these awesome, somehow mostly New York bands.
It's really funny.
Yeah. Like so many of the listeners I have now and so many of the bands I talk to are all just like Long Island, fucking
That's
Brooklyn,
really funny.
whatever. Yeah, it's really, it's either that or like I'll talk to like the last like straight up metalcore band I talked to was from Athens, Greece, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's just funny to like what connects me to different people. But Ross Becomes is a band that I've now been listening to for well over a year, and I think LOF was maybe it was definitely the most recent single.
It was the
you
most
had
recent single because we were sitting on Broken Mirrors and I was like,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
talk about a single
I can't talk
thing.
about this. And what a thing to talk about. We'll get to that in just a minute, right? But before we get into like the kind of track by track and kind of getting your influences and getting like the lyrical concepts and all that for the record, first and foremost, I want to say this record was both like, it was really real. Like the things I first noticed about it were that it was like the production on it's super clear. It sounds like, we can get to the influences, but like I just say this because of course Jesse Leach is on the record. I also listen to a lot of Killswitch Engage, and it's got the clarity of like literally a top shelf metalcore record, like a Killswitch Engage record. Like it sounds
Dude, thank
so
you
clear,
so much.
so crisp, and I think that helps because the songwriting's so good, your vocal delivery's so good that you want it to have that top tier, high definition production and mixing, right? Like you don't want anything lost in the weeds of doing it DIY or doing it, you know what I mean? Those different things.
Yeah.
It really comes off as like a very, very professionally made record. I guess like to start things off here, the band, we talked, people can go back and listen to the other episode we did, kind of your coming up in music. We talked a lot about Slipknot, which you're wearing a hoodie of right now, and
eighth grade right here.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And all the different influences you had, but from your earlier releases to Sonder, which again came out last month in January, what was kind of your thoughts going into this record broadly? Do you feel like you took a step up? What were the steps up, or the kind of different, the thought processes you had here? What kind of separated this record from your other releases? Because not to disparage your other releases, but this one definitely felt like production, songwriting, delivery, the whole nine yards. Felt like a big step up for you guys.
It definitely was. Thank you, dude. Like honestly, like these compliments mean a lot. Like we sat on it for a little while, and it was weird because we had our old drummer in the band, and then in come these two new people that so we recorded the record at Westfall, where Johnny Booth, Moontooth, and like every band on Long Island's pretty much gone to. And it's funny, it's the most professional setting and the most like sarcastic setting because so me and Lepardo, as I call him Big T, I'm Little T, he's Big T. We had this weird relationship going in, and we talk about it still to this day. Like, him and I did not like each other in the scene. There's something about it. Like, one Anthony is enough. You don't need two. But now I can't get enough. Like, he's like my fucking brother, and like I don't put that lightly. Like, I'd go to battle for this motherfucker, and I'm positive he would do the same. But so like we didn't like each other at first, and when I first joined Lost Becomes, like as I previously said in the last interview, like I was done with music, but then this came up, and I was like, I have to do it. My fiance was like, you have to go. And recording with him, I was like, why do I vibe with this motherfucker so much? And like, I've done records at Westfall before, but like now this time where he was involved, he was like, hey, things are going to change a little bit. Like now I have to put my stamp on this also. And I'm like, good, let's fucking bring it. I want hard shit. Like, tell me what sucks. Tell me what doesn't. And like, we have full on conversations, like without talking to each other now. We'll just go, okay. And I'll be like, I'll do it. I'll do it that way. And he's like, good, do it. And it's just funny. So the record sounding so good, we owe that to Westfall. Ray Marte from Moontooth, he mixed and mastered, I believe. And Lepardo, like, I think Ray dabbled a little bit. I don't know what he did behind the scenes. We all kind of have our own jobs.
Right.
But like, we had a few songs going in, like On My Way Down and LOF were like skeletons. Like we thought they were done, but then Lepardo came in and went, nah, hold on, watch this, and just made it massive. And I was actually concerned. I was like, how are we going to do this live? And not to toot my own horn, but I think we do it. Yeah.
Well, the kind of goes. I know you just did your album release show just like a little over a week ago. How did I'm sure that was a time where you maybe played a few of the songs maybe for the first time live. How was that for you with the new material, and did you feel like it was like received well? How did the album release show go?
It's funny. Like we've been playing most of the songs live, and we've like taken stuff out, put them back in. And this show, we obviously had like a 45-minute set. Shout out to Moontooth. Thank you to them. Is my internet going bad? No, we're good.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So, like, they asked us, like, hey, would you release your album, play a show with us? And I said, of course, you guys are family. Let's do this. Sorry, I kind of meandered. So, yeah, we, so we dabbled a little bit leading up to the release. And, like, when you play songs that aren't released, people are like, hey, we're going to hear that one. And I'm like, you can't. Sorry. Like it's not out. But now, like, so kind of going off, my dad came to the show with my sister, and like there were 350 people in the room, let's say. I don't know what the exact number was, but it was essentially sold out. I'm going to say it was sold out because it felt sold out.
Yeah.
And like the crowd reception was weird, and I wasn't used to seeing mouths like mouth the words. And I'm like, this record's been out like a week and a half, and you all know these words this quickly? Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. It's crazy. But the next day, my dad calls me and he goes, that was a lot of people. And I was like, yeah, pretty crazy, right? He goes, yeah. And like, people were singing along. And he goes, yeah, what was that about? And I was like, I don't know. You ask them, bro. But it was just a funny, like, my dad see me play in front of 2 people. My dad see me now play in front of this massive room. And I was like, please stand to the side. I don't know how the crowd's going to react. We had a few pit moments, but people felt, I don't know, people like warmed up to it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like the craziest show. And like people were a little uncomfortable. They were like kind of knowing the words, and they were like,
yeah.
And I was like, grab the mic. It's yours. I'm going to clean it after, but it's yours.
Yeah, I got my wipes on handy to get the grit or whatever. But yeah.
Should.
Go for it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, so the reception was good. I'm very thankful for that. Like, thank you to all those people that came out, like, from the bottom of my cold, dark heart. Thank you. But, yeah, now I'm just excited to see where it takes us. Like, I'm really proud of this record. Like, sitting on it for so long, I've gotten sick of it 3 times. And when I realized we were doing this today, I was like, oh God, I have to listen to the record again. And I went to go put it on. And I'm like, I can't. I'm so sick of it.
Isn't that so tired and true of like the real working musician, right? Like if you're doing like a full length record like you all are doing, 10 full tracks, and then you want to like do any sort of promotion in the correct way, let alone hide that you have the singer of fucking Killswitch Engage on the record for however long you had to do that for.
I kept apologizing to Jesse every time we post. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I know this is going to end soon. We won't tag you in everything. And he's like, no, go ahead, dude. And I'm like, man, you're the best.
He seems like he would be the best, but we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
First and foremost, because again, I should have gone back and looked at, this would have been a professional. If you were talking to a professional, I probably would have looked at exactly when the date was of our first episode. If it had been out, like you said, you were kind of holding back, and that I remember you were like teasing there was going to be a really cool single when we recorded that, and it made a lot of sense when it came out that it was fucking Jesse Leach of Killswitch Engage on one of your songs. But you talked about like how long you've been sitting on this record. So when did you actually record this? Because it had to have been in what, 2024, early 2024, late 2023?
Technically 2022 it was done, but we didn't do the Jesse feature yet.
Okay.
Like Jesse's been friends with Brian forever. Like, Jesse would do DJ gigs, and then when he joined Killswitch, him and Brian stayed in touch, do the restaurant. Like, I'm not even faking this. Jesse's the realest motherfucker I've ever met.
He seems like the real deal. He seems like, there's a lot of people out there that give off like the good guy vibes that like you find out are monsters like 6 months later. He does not come off as that at all.
Everything that he puts, he is. Like, there's no fake fuck bone about him. Like,
I met him like a decade ago, and it felt like you were just having a conversation with a guy when you're having a beer at a bar during the show. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, there were a lot of funny moments where I was like, yo, like, are you good? And he was like, absolutely, you good? And I was like, okay, like, yeah, we're fine. Like, I'm just pinching myself. Like, this is insane. I've been listening to him since I got into metal, and I've had arguments with like friends going, like, Howard's a great vocalist, and I just got the chance to see Howard with Killswitch for the first time at New England Metal Fest. And like the night before, I got to hang out with Jesse and his wife, Purple, and just like walk around town and like drink beers. And I was like, this is insane. I'm like,
yeah,
he said, like, yo,
every metalcore kid is so pissed at you right now just for saying that. Here's this.
And it's just funny because like even before leading all of this, like I feel kind of gross saying this, but like leading up to it, he would always compliment me, be like, dude, like your vocals. I'm like, please stop. I can't take this. Like I hate compliments. And I was just like, you know how I feel about you. And he goes, yeah, like it's cool, man. And I'm like, okay, just want to make sure the mutual respect is there. Like, and it's hard because then, so we released the single and then we played upstate. I should remember what town because it was such a huge moment. Like, so just going to full-fledged Jesse mode. He said yes to tracking and I was like, holy shit. Like and what's funny is my brother came into town from Puerto Rico and I was like, hey, I'm around, but this day I'm not. And like, I got a little grief from my family and I was like, I can't tell you why. I don't want to ruin this. Yeah. I was like, I have to kayfabe all of you. But so then all of a sudden we're hanging out and like, we're just chilling. And he's like, yeah. Like, and we're going over the lyrics and easiest dude I've ever worked with for the first time. I was like, do whatever you want. He goes, no, let's fuck around. And I'm like, perfect. This is where I thrive. Like, and so I got to like sit and watch his process and like, again, just complimented the shit out of me. And I was like, man, this is insane. I kept like pinching myself legit.
Yeah, I can only because, you know, like, here's the whole thing, and then we'll get right into the track listing because I don't want to like bury the lead here, but having a record or having a song featuring literally like one, you know, people that are really into the underground niches of things can say, oh, this band created metalcore actually, or that band, but like one of the bands that at least brought it to the forefront for everyone, whether it was a church kid like me when I was in high school because they had inspirational enough lyrics, they got you a church kid could get away with it, like, or whatever else, like, because Jesse's a very spiritual guy and all that kind of stuff too, or whether you were like a dyed in the wool like touring guy in the early 2000s, like Killswitch Engage is a defining moment for everyone that's into modern metal, like everybody, you know, like. You hear Life to Lifeless for the first time and your brain breaks.
That's like the song.
Yeah. And just to be able to have that experience alone, like you can, and again, I don't think this will be the case for you guys. I think you guys will grow in popularity and you guys will get to do a lot of things I'm sure you're yearning to do. But just being able to sit down with that guy and make a song is like one of the, like, that's got to be something you're going to cherish for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, like I'll give it away in one of the songs like later, but like I ripped him off completely, and like I had to be like, yo, I rip you off a lot. And he's like, oh, like thank you, dude, and like don't worry about it, it's yours.
Thanks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, because I've met other singers.
Yeah,
like I've met other singers and been like, yo, like I gotta tell you, like you're a huge inspiration. They're like, whatever, man, thank you. Like, but like,
yeah.
It's never been this real. Like, I can't explain it. Like, and I just want to reiterate, Jesse is the realest motherfucker ever.
Yeah. Like, 1,000% and like an inspiration for so many people.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like kind of cool that one that you're able to do this, and two, like it makes a lot of sense for this record to get into the record. Sonder. You know, your guys' influences you wear on your sleeves, I think, in a very cool way, both instrumentally and vocally. You say you quote rip off Jesse. I think you take inspiration from Jesse and a lot of other classic people. I hear a lot of I say his name wrong every time because I only read things. I don't ever watch other interviews. But like when I hear your singing voice in a lot of these songs, I hear a lot of like Matt Heafy from Trivium. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that kind of deal as well, where like your band, does, I think, something that a lot of other bands now in metalcore or metal or whatever subgenre you want to throw out there don't do as much. Like, a lot of people try to kind of go with the more, I don't know, like backtrack things and a lot of ethereal sounds and all that. And like, all that's great. I love that. I do that music myself, right? But
Me
what I
too.
love about your record and your band a lot of times is you guys very much do sort of the Killswitch trivia. I'm trying to think of some other more classic, metalcore bands where, like, a lot of your songs, at least, like, I'm sure there's little things there that would prove me wrong, but like a lot of your guys' songs, it's like it's guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and it feels like a rock band, right? Like,
Yeah.
kind of that
No
same
tracks.
vein of like, yeah, like the
Yeah.
heyday of metalcore or metal in the
Like,
early
we
2000s.
can't afford a laptop. We can't afford a laptop, a sampler, or an iPad. We're not using it.
Yeah. But you find a way to make the songs as big as the other, like, quote, modern metal bands that have all those different sounds in it, right? Which is what a Killswitch, Trivium, and all those other bands do so well as well. So to kind of dive into the record here to kick things off, even though we kind of have already, we talked about LOF a little bit beforehand. It's like in the last episode, people can go check it out that Anthony and I did together. But, kind of doing a track by track. Well, I guess we probably didn't talk about the lyrics too much of some of these songs, or definitely not the rest of them. But kind of dive into it, starting with LOF. What are the inspirations, I guess? Like, we could do a track by track lyrically if you're into that. But what are some of the inspirations lyrically here, I guess, for LOF? We can go down the line here, and then we'll get to Broken Mirrors that has Jesse Leach that we've already been talking about. But what were the lyrical inspirations there?
So LOF, I don't remember what I said in the past, and honestly, with
Doesn't
me,
matter.
like,
It's fine.
it's funny. Like, I was like Chino Marino from Deftones. He talks like every song kind of like changes. Or I think it was Claudio that said it from Coheed. Wow, I don't
Try
even know
both
who
of
I'm
them.
referencing here. Yeah, but so someone said like, oh, the lyrics to me like change over time, and it's weird. I was actually just talking to my sister about, like, when you're actively doing something, like I'll be working out at the gym because I'm jacked, but fucking my head clears and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this weird thing, and I like this this verbal rhythm. How can I try to remember it? And I'll write it a specific way, and I'll be like, okay, cool, that's what this is about. A week later, I'll go, oh, that was about when my dog passed away when I was a kid. Weird. Like, I don't know where I grabbed that from. Like, I'll think I'm referencing one thing, then it turns into another. And like LOF, it's funny because LOF stands for lube oil filter, and me and Brian are both mechanic sons. Like, when I said this song is gonna be called LOF, he goes, "Oh, I know what that is," and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "It's an oil change. Like, it's a mental oil change. That's what this song is about." Because, like, I have like crazy OCD sometimes. Like, if I'm weird before a show, it's just I'm going through it and I'm Dewey Coxing it. Like, I just got to fucking, like, wrong kid died. So
Yeah.
I'm just feeling a thing and I'm getting up there and I'm like being weird about touching stuff. Like, it's just one of those things. But then once the music starts, it's gone. And then after the show, talk to me all you want. Like,
Yeah.
I'm super weird before a show, and I apologize to everyone if you've witnessed me be weird. But
So that's kind of
yeah,
the correlation with LOF, right? Like, so
yeah.
do you do like, because, everybody's different. I always had to do like a couple of liquid confidence shots before I would play, no matter how many times I did, because I would just have the jitters a little bit and it would calm me down and like tell me, kind of be like a whatever the fuck kind of feeling, Do you have sort of things that like you do that kind of help you with that when you play shows?
It depends on the day. Like, so this past show, no, I don't drink before going on. If everyone's doing
Probably
a
smart
shot,
for a vocalist. Yeah.
yeah, like, I try not to, but like, if I'm feeling dry, I'll have to like gargle whiskey, as weird as that sounds. Like, and then it just toughens me
Oof.
up and then lubes me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You're
like,
doing
I've
the
been,
oil change on your throat in that
yeah, no,
instance as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. If Gomez, our bassist, like, introduces it, I can't turn it down. Sometimes I'll be like, fuck off. But like before we went, anyway, I'll get back to that. Like, I'm just gonna talk about it. Fuck it. So before we
go ahead.
sang, like Jesse came and played a show with us, and we were all like, "Do you want a drink?" And I was like, "Leave me the fuck alone." Like I have to go figure this thing out because I was like, "I'm gonna fuck up." I did fuck up. Shh, don't tell anyone. But I forgot the whole first verse. It's fine. We're human. But like I just can't really drink before going on. Like I used to get like drink 6 beers and go up, pee 8 times before going on, but that's what I'm more worried about. Like one time I pissed my pants a little bit and I still had to play. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna soak myself down. No one's gonna notice.
Yeah, no one's gonna see it. More dark clothes. Nobody's gonna see shit.
Dude, even the dark clothes, you can see it, but hopefully the lights.
Yeah,
dry
the
it
lights
out.
and everything else. Yeah.
But so like I just don't want that happening, and I don't have to pee like 80 times. I've made the mistake of overhydrating where my throat felt like pudding.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's such a thing as overhydrating, but like I need
But
to
you feel
find
like as a metal vocalist, you can't get the grit then almost or something,
yeah,
right?
then I'm just like,
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm singing like opera and
Sound,
shit. And I'm
sound like you're Scott Stapp or something. Yeah.
yeah, and my arms are not wide open, only sometimes. But so
Well,
I don't
yeah.
really. I try not to drink before playing. We also kind of have a rule because like we've all individually gotten a little fucked up before playing, and like
Of course.
no good. So
Yeah, that's fine when you're like 20 years old. When you get to a certain point, it's like we're doing something. We're not just like throwing shit together and
just do it
hoping,
after.
Yeah, just do it right after the celebratory. Yeah.
Make sure whoever's the DD, which is always Lepardo, Big T. I'm gonna throw like 8 different nicknames in this conversation.
That, that's fine though, and I'll pretend that I know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. But that makes a lot of sense though, because I think there's a fine line there with live shows of like some people you might need like a shot or something like that, and that's one thing of like it's more of like a mental thing.
That.
Yeah. I would always do when I used to play in a band or several bands where I would like kind of play regional shows or whatever. What I would do is 2 double shots of Rumplemints right before I jumped on stage.
I don't think I've ever had Rumplemints.
It's 100 proof like mint alcohol.
Jeebus.
Yeah. I didn't do a lot of vocals, so that helped. I did mostly guitar and the whammy pedal. Yeah, it was fine.
As long as you can fucking
just
do
the
this and a little bit of
and
this.
nobody cared. And it was drop A.
Yeah.
Nobody could hear the notes. It was fine.
Yeah.
But like I think that's like a real thing though. People kind of have to like wrestle with like something that kind of like gives you that liquid confidence maybe, but also like you're not 20 years old in a college band anymore. You need to like treat this seriously. Like you're sort of a professional. You are a professional. Like you've got a song with Killswitch Engage. You're a professional. You know what I mean? Like you gotta.
Thank you,
know
man.
what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hey, I'm taking a lot of time out to do this. You better fucking prepare.
And people are coming out to see it, right? Like people are coming to see it.
I'm older.
In between.
A lot of my friends and family can't go to shows anymore because they have kids. Like,
yeah.
And if they're out, let them party. Let them be out.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to do a shot with me, I just have to say, hey, come meet me after. Then we'll hang out.
Right after is great. Sure, whatever.
Right after.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk into the stage and I'll drink it. It could be cat piss and I won't even know. So
hopefully not. But yeah, no, but I mean that's totally relatable. I think for a lot of like, not even just anyone that's in entertainment and any professional level would totally understand the kind of balancing act of that for sure. Go to the next one, the next track, Home. Again, like one thing I want to say, like in case anybody that's listening has not heard of this record before, like what I think this record provides a lot of that I kind of alluded to it before, that I think is like a really cool space for like you guys aren't new, but I mean like an up and coming band, put out a new release is like the sort of like fun energy you have in a lot of the songs, despite, the lyrical content seems serious. There's a lot of like dark undertones, breakdowns, all the good stuff. But like, there's a lot of like, I guess like driving energy in the songs that I think is refreshing again for metal acts that now more and more go into like the new metal brooding mode a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I felt that way in like the first 4 tracks on this. It had like a very like aggressive, fun, but also dark, like anthemic vibe to it that I felt like set the tone for it really well. But I'll stop rambling. Get into Home for me. What are any things that you can speak to, any tidbits or anything like that for the song Home on the record?
So I mean, essentially the song Home, like I had a hard time naming this one. It was nicknamed Sluts for a while because like we couldn't figure out a name, and we did that 10-day run
good
with
you didn't go with that one.
It would have went over so well.
Hey,
But
Korn got away with a lot of those kind of things, but that was in like 2001. So I don't know if it's like
late 90s too, when they were
late
like
90s
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Felt some
But,
slurs the wrong way and put it as a track.
We'll just add a Z. It's fine.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
But so like I had a hard time coming up with the title, and I was like, I think we're just gonna call it Home. And I was like, it might get mixed up with Seven Dust, but who cares? Like, what's old is now new again. It doesn't matter. But like that song's essentially like, just to broad stroke it, I don't mean to like wax and wane about it, but it's about like growing older and not really knowing where home is, even though you have a home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this the home? Like, is this home, or is it just for right now? Because like it's a weird conversation. Like, I mean, dude, my fiance is like my biggest supporter. Like, I get a lot of influence from her just from us talking. Like, and that was a big conversation when we started living together. Like, oh, we're gonna argue about where the toothbrush goes in the bathroom. Is it up here, or are we putting it away? What are we doing? It's like everything kind of touches on that, but it's also like, again, all these songs, whatever someone takes out of it, take what you want.
Exactly. Absolutely. No, I mean, and again, like a very universal topic for a lot of people, kind of in this age of, you're not young, but you're not old. You're not, you don't really know, like, you're supposed to be more established, supposedly, than you feel like you are, and like there's a lot of that goes into it with those lyrics for sure. That after that song, again, like, thanks for going over that. Broken Mirrors, we've talked quite a bit about. That Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage features on this one.
I'll never get tired of talking about it.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. It'll give me clips
moment
too as well, so it's fine. But Broken Mirrors, the song lyrics feel pretty like you can get a lot out of like what the meaning is behind them, specifically even in the chorus that like has very few lyric lines overall. There's a lot to be said there. But what I'm interested in, maybe you said it earlier and my brain's fried and I didn't quite catch it, but like you said that Jesse and one of the other members of your band have known each other for a while, right? But like, how did this actually really come together? What was that songwriting process like? And then like actually speak to a little bit of what the lyrics and the song is about.
So Broken Mirrors, our guitarist Lepardo, who owns Westfall with Ray, he sent me this track and went, "What do you got for this?" And he just sent it, and like we have like a cocky like "fuck you" conversation most of the time, like just two
sounds
Italian
like New York.
boys.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let's see if you come up with anything good for this, because this is a good song. Like, and we were just fucking around with each other, and I go, "I'll show you, motherfucker." I wrote that entire song in 45 minutes on my train home from the city.
Amazing.
Like, lyrics, I had to fix them up, not to like. I don't mean to like.
Yeah, of course.
Like I had the chorus. I was like, I fucking got it. Fuck you. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you really have it? Yeah, let's see." And I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna show you, motherfucker." And I'm so goddamn proud of the song. Like, I'm sick of it. So sick of it. Like, when it released, and like I'd be at a family party and they'd be scrolling through. We're like hanging out with friends and they'd be scrolling through. And I would hear, and I'm like, "Dude, turn it the fuck off." And they're like, "I'm giving you views. Why?" I'm like, "Did you like it? Did you comment? That's all I need. Moving along."
Put it on mute.
Give me that
yeah.
Get me in the algorithm. Leave me alone. Thank you. But so we wrote the song, and again, we didn't know Jesse was even gonna do it. We were like, "Fuck it, let's just shop it around." Like, we had the record. We were told no, which is fine to admit. Like, people said no, they just weren't interested. Silent Pendulum came in and picked us up. Shout out to Silent Pendulum. So then our management reached out to Jesse to see if he was interested because he's been doing a lot of features, and he was like, yeah, I'm just like trying to work with stuff. Like, I want to see what's out there and just figure stuff out. Like what, like all
Probably
that
helps
fun.
him to like get connected with newer bands, at his age.
That
to be
too,
blunt, but,
yeah. Plus, you're in an echo chamber when you're up there, you don't really see what's down here. But like, he's heard us. He's come out to he's supported. I think he's come out to one show. I'm not sure. Whatever. But and we toured with Justin's other band, Lyrical, and those dudes are great. And like, our management's the same management, so we just talked. Plus, Jesse and Brian have been friends for I don't know how long. So it was like, it wasn't one of those forced things. Like, it just worked out so well. I still can't believe like it's still there. Like, it's a fun flex to be like, hey, like, check this out.
Like I said, that is like a permanent flex that you have at all times.
Yeah.
Now, no matter what happens. Yeah.
And I had to keep it so under wraps. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell anyone. I only told like 3 people, including my fiance. Like,
Well, because the second you tell somebody about it, it's not like a cool like up and coming like slightly bigger band that you get on that you're like, this will be kind of cool that we got this a little bit bigger. You got Killswitch fucking Engage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the reason why half of us probably picked up a guitar or whatever. But
yeah.
You said you wrote the song like really quickly, 45 minutes, at least the skeleton of it or the initial draft or whatever.
Yeah.
45 minutes on the train is sort of a fuck you to your bandmate. But
Yeah.
I mean, the song feels very poignant. So maybe if, like you said earlier, later on songs can kind of have their own meaning. What was sort of the is it opus or onus? I always use the wrong term, but what was these sort of like,
I don't even know what those
idea?
words mean.
What was the sort of idea behind this one? Because like it feels like it kind of feels like that kind of Killswitch vibe even too, where like the song can be very relatable on like a philosophical level and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where do the kind of the lyrical inspirations come from?
So like, again, OCD is a big thing for me. Like, getting over that, just touching on it, like it's me figuring things out, the relationship I have with myself, and then figuring out what other people with this issue, or whatever the fuck it's called technically, how they deal with it. And like, I read up stuff and I'm like, how do I get rid of this? And like, can you get rid of it? What have other people done? People feel this way. I should be more understanding. I don't have it that bad. Like, and again, like, walk in someone else's shoes. Like, essentially every song on this record is me looking at myself and then going, who else is dealing with this type of thing? And like, what's their point of view?
Yeah.
That's Sonder. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And again, very, very universal with all that. Because I mean, I think like even if somebody isn't dealing with OCD specifically, a lot of these songs, when you look through the lyrics, like kind of dealing with that, like, I don't know, it's not just like dealing with mental health, it's like dealing with the meta of your own mental health, right? Like in a lot of these different scenarios that you talk about in these songs. And whether you're dealing with OCD or depression or a different vein of mental health diagnosis, like you feel all those different things. You not only feel the disorder or the diagnosis or whatever, like you said, whatever you want to call it, you also feel like the part of your brain that's trying to think about the diagnosis and think, you know what I mean? Like
I'm
you can
always
get into
wrong.
Your head, so right.
That's
exactly.
literally the lyric. Like, I'm like constantly having a conversation with myself going, no, you're wrong. You should wash your hands again. And I'm going, no, you're wrong. I'm not washing my hands again. And it's funny because Jesse connected with the lyrics on like a different like relationship level. He's like, oh man, this is like awakening. And I'm like, whatever you feel, dude, go for it. It's whatever you want it to be about.
But that's what I felt. And that's what I liked about when I was like looking at the lyrics of some of these songs, like when I was trying to look through and find all of them, was that you write in a way, again, not to keep relating it back to Killswitch, but Killswitch always did that with especially their earlier releases where Jesse was clearly writing about some, philosophical thing he was talking about, spiritual thing or mental health disorder thing, but like you could put your own, like I referenced Life to Lifeless earlier. I've read like 6 different things where people talked about what that song is about, what it means to them.
Dude,
and it's not because it's generic, it's because it's well written. You know what I mean? Like, that's art. Exactly.
Like, I have a picture of Andy Kaufman up here. That's what that is. Like, dude, like, we were just, me and my fiance, name dropping like hell over here. We were watching SNL, and she was like, oh, was Andy Kaufman, like, did he have autism, like early autism? Like, well, that's kind of like the art of Andy Kaufman. Like, you don't know what's real and what isn't. There's
Right.
kayfabe. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, she doesn't know as much as I grew up paying attention to it. But she was like, I don't get it. Like, I'm like, no, what's funny is he's playing on just being vulnerable. Like,
Yes.
and again, one person may see that and be like, oh, like, is this funny? I don't know. I'm being sympathetic, but then there's also comedy within sympathy. Like,
Yes.
and I think we're all trying to figure that out a lot right now.
I think so too. Yeah. Nothing crazy is going on in the world. Everything is fine. No
We're all
one's trying to
good.
figure that shit out. Yeah. Going from that track, and again, we've talked a lot about Broken Mirrors and Jesse Leach and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely fantastic song. I do have to say, as much as I'm a Killswitch fan, it's not my favorite song on the record. We'll get to which one is my favorite when we get down here. But
I love this.
Get into track 4. Tell me. So tell me anything that what am I trying to say here? You know what I'm trying to say. Tell me any tidbits on Tell Me, things of that nature. That was awful. Anyway.
No, I'm all about the puns. Let's go. So Tell Me, it's essentially about guilt that you would get from a group of people, whether it's family, friends. Like, am I seeing this person enough? Are they mad at me? What's like, am I mad at that person? Do they know that I'm upset about this? Is it a big deal? Is it not? Well, is it not? Excuse me. So, like, that's a broad stroke. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be saying that a lot. So, like, it's just guilt. It's about, like, do I stop and see my parents? Like, I haven't seen them in a week. Am I feeling guilty about not seeing them? Should I go see them? Like, are they going to be mad if I don't see them for a month? You know, like, I should call them, but do I need to call them? It's all that. Like, and then
They didn't call me. It doesn't matter if I call them, and all those different things. Yeah,
and like,
right.
What's good? What's bad? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm an adult trying to figure it out.
That's what I love about this record in general, though, man. And like, we're kind of going through. You've got a lot of like similar philosophies, I guess that you could say, like thrown into these songs. But like, you write about these things, like with this song specifically, in such a way that like everyone feels that. I've never thought to like throw that into a song. You know what I mean? Like, I've never thought of, and I don't know how many people have, and like that's such a relatable experience, and yet like I don't know how often people really like write about that sort of like quandary that everyone literally deals with, unless you like live next to your parents or next to your entire family.
I mean, I live pretty close
to
mine. I live close to my siblings. Like, I live close to a lot of friends, but like, I got my own shit going on. They got shit going on. Have I seen my niece and nephew enough?
Yeah.
Like,
same.
I have to go do a podcast. Like,
I got important
time.
shit to do, you know?
Yeah. We got to talk about me.
It's about
what's
me.
funny. So what's funny is I tried to write this about crime, like a crime story, because I was listening to a lot of true crime, just like everyone in America.
Yeah.
But fucking like the
so
chorus,
good for our brains. Yeah.
Yeah. So the chorus, like, it was full on like I had to read. My drummer makes fun of me because I have to read through the lyrics. I don't know the words unless I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, the blood stain you washed away with bleach just to walk away from the crime, as if you didn't leave your fingerprints embedded in me. That's talking about a serial killer.
Yeah.
Essentially, you or someone else is the like mental, emotional serial killer. Like,
right. You're repetitively sort of like in this middle space of not knowing whether or not you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for relationships or family or things of that nature. I like that connection you still got there, though. That's good. Yeah. That's
no one knows that. I don't think my band knows.
Look,
I was like,
look
yeah,
at you being a storyteller. Look at that. You know,
the worst.
Going from the serial killer story of relationships to a song called "It Kills."
Yeah.
But tell me any inspirations or any tidbits you have on this one. You can also talk about like how it was, you know, if you have any tidbits on any of these songs with how it was writing it, recording it, all that kind of stuff too. It doesn't have to just be lyrics. I don't need to like make you be an orator on your lyrics at all times.
Is this the one? Oh, dude. So this song, like the chorus, I go really high with the scream.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
It's funny. Vin Romes was in studio, the bassist of Moontooth, and he was just hanging out while I was tracking. I was big into smoking cigars at this point. And as a vocalist, whatever, like I have asthma, ear, nose, and throat issues.
Yeah.
I was smoking cigars heavy, and I was like, yo, this is awesome. I love smoking cigars. Still do. I'm going to smoke a cigar as long as I don't have anything coming up. But I kept getting sick off and on because, like, we all have day jobs, and Lepardo would be running the studio and then I'd have to sneak in and do vocal takes. Like, it'd be like 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you come in and do this real quick? Yeah, let's just do it. And, like, we were hanging out, and I was blown. I was completely gone. I was like, dude, I'm, like, just getting over being sick. And he's like, you don't sound like Tony right now. And I'm like, just shut up. Just record this idea and I'll go back another time. And like I recorded it and I was like, so mad. But those screams are total like ending of a sinus infection. My voice is gone. And it just brought like a different character out.
It works. And that's the thing though about recording. It works. Like sometimes it's kind of like when like, you know, you're like very like, I don't know, maybe this is all bravado, but like you sound like when you do like the clean singing, you know, and like the sort of like anthemic hooks you'll do or whatever else, you sound very controlled when you do those. Like you really know what you're doing. Maybe you don't have to tell the people, but
shout out to Zen of Screaming, Melissa Cross.
Hey, I have that stuff is a godsend.
I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah, we did. But it's kind of like when you'll hear some of your favorite records and you'll hear somebody and like their voice breaks, like on a note they're trying to hit or something, and it sounds cooler than when they would have just nailed it, right? Like it could be the same way with screams, where like screams in some places, like if you're kind of losing it, depending upon the kind of timbre you're doing, like it almost sounds better depending upon the emotion of the moment and all that kind of stuff, for you to actually be like kind of losing it. You know what I mean? And that song rips. It's again, like we'll get to in just a second here, what I think is like the highlight of you personally on the record and like my favorite of the album. But like this one was a highlight too. Like I thought there was kind of like a cool, unique, you know, like those higher pitched screams, I guess you're doing there. Like it sounds really cool.
I can do them. I promise I can do them.
Oh, I'm sure you can. I'm not denying that. But I mean, like it's cool when people kind of add that kind of rawness, and it's literally like because you're not completely there vocally in a way, right? Like you're sort of like losing it, you know.
And I'm not scared to talk about it because as like a vocalist, like if I hear like, oh, we had 2 days to track this part of the record, and I was sick the day before, and I got mono like 12 hours beforehand, but we still had to track the record anyway. Like I think it was Suicide Silence. Mitch Lucker had mono and would like go track and then go to bed and then just wake up the next day, do it again. And he was like, we only had 10 days to do this, and 5 of them I was deathly sick. But so like
there's something about
I like
it, though,
hearing,
you know,
it's human. It's really human. Not like, and I'm not afraid to admit, like, yeah, it just wasn't on, but then it created this layer.
Yeah, and it works for the recording, which is sick. It gives like a little individuality to it. Blink Once is the next track on this record, and Blink Once was the last. It wasn't even like the last single you released before the record. You released a music video for it, I think, the day of,
with
or
the
like
record.
a few days. Yeah, with the record, right?
2 days before we were on Revolver. Shout out Revolver. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's where I was confused, because you and I talked. I saw the single come out, and next thing I knew, the record was out on like a Tuesday or something, and I was like, oh, shit. And I had to dive into it. But Blink Once, really cool song, really cool video too. I like all your guys' videos you've done are really interesting. And like from someone that's like doesn't really watch music videos that often.
Who does?
Personally, you know,
Who does?
Because I'm mostly like dive into the music 10 times over and like, what's my favorite breakdown? What am I hearing here in the transitions? What are the lyrics saying? All that kind of stuff. I enjoyed it because, like, I don't know. Sometimes when you have those sort of, I don't know, like the sort of music videos that really just kind of cater to the energy of the song, like you guys did with this one, and certainly with some of the visuals you had for Broken Mirrors and stuff too. Like, you're not trying to do too much with it, right? Like, it just sort of like gives the vibe of what the song is.
Yeah, our drummer is the guy who does all of our videos. Sean Washed Up Media fucking kills it. I've been watching him kill it for over 15 years now. And like, I think I talked about this last time. Like, I just heard myself. We've been trying to like work on something together. And like, it's great to have such a close, like, personal best friend in your band. Like, everyone is in this band is unfortunately my best friend. Like we've been trying to do this for so long, and now we get into the arguments of like, we need to get this done. What do we need to do to get it done? Do you have it yet? Am I free? Like, I'm not free right now. Can we meet up tomorrow? Blah, blah, blah. And like, dude, he makes chicken shit and makes chicken salad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That video, I was like, what are we doing? Like, we're under red lights. And he goes, don't worry, I have a vision. And I watched it and I was like, dude, this is the sickest fucking video from like the nothing that we did.
It reminds you when somebody, it's kind of, I don't know if you're like a big Astray from the Path fan, if you ever really listen to that band. They put out a video recently, like they're starting to have their bass player their bass player now does all their music videos. It's like very DIY that they do it that way too. And like,
okay, I didn't know
that are able to pull things out of like sort of like not just performance videos, but sort of get like that vibe, like a really cool vibe from like a relatively minimal music video, and oftentimes I'll find out it's somebody in the band doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're just able to kind of get those nuances, those little angles and everything in between. You know what I mean?
Who else is it? While She Sleeps?
I think they're pretty DIY with that. Yeah. I think there's a lot to that. You know what I mean? Like,
and like being able to trust, like, so we have Lepardo at Westfall, Ageman with Washed Up. Between those two, like, I'm like, I trust you. You trust me doing what I do.
You guys know what the fuck you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, just do what you do. Because it's what you do best. Like, so
absolutely.
I'm very thankful. Like, legit, like, these people have, like, pulled me out of the gutter most days. And, like, they may not know it, but I'm like, thank God I have these people around me.
Well, it's nice to have people that, like, you know, for a band like you guys, you could all very well be really good at your instrument, really good at your, you know, like, vocal delivery, songwriting, all that. And like, when you don't have somebody that doesn't know like the technical aspect of like these other things like music video creation or mixing and mastering or production, like, it's good to have those people in your own camp and not just having to outsource it, because like, you do have the little bit of like, if they bring something back to you that sucks, you're also a little bit more open to saying you could,
yeah. Like, I go, all right, I'm going to respond in a day. And they go, here we go. Something's coming. Like, someone will always be like, I don't like this, but give me a few. Like, let me see.
Yeah. And let me see what I like about it, what we can do with it, and, you know, all those different things.
And now that we're adults, like, legit, like, we're all just, like, real with each other. Like, yo, this sucks. You can do so much better. Why is this not? All right, I bounced it wrong. My bad. Hold on, I'm moving this over.
Well, and it comes not from a place of like personal insult, but a place of like, we want this to be the best it can possibly be, right?
Like, bud, I love you. Just try something else.
And we want this all to be the best thing it can possibly be, right? That brings me to my favorite song of the record, which is "Smile Wide." I thought this song personally, I don't think, if I remember right, there's any singing in this song. I think it's all screaming and you doing various timbres of like your vocal range from, or no, there might be a little bit of it in there, but it's like, I don't know, some of the vocal delivery felt sort of like on a hardcore lens for it a little bit, like especially like the sort of refrain or chorus you do in there. It felt like
Awesome.
one of the angriest songs in it, which I'm always for personally. But what was this one out about?
So this one, it was essentially like a horror story. Like again, kind of
That's
like
in
what
line for me. Yeah.
yeah, like so like it's someone getting over like a trauma and like kind of digesting their emotions. Like I didn't love the talking thing in the beginning, and it was an idea that I was like, I have to throw this out. They're like, no, this is kind of cool. It's different. Like let's just try to work with it. Let's sit on it. But like I used this cool like payphone phone that Lepardo had in the studio, and I was like, I want to use that. Let me use that. Like whenever he gets a new toy, I'm like, I'm using that. I don't care. And he goes, I have to fucking set this up. Hold on. And I'm like, all right, I'm using it. I don't care, even if it's for a second. Excuse me. And him and Ray made it sound super fucking cool. Like I didn't love this song for a while. This is probably like the song that I felt like I was like getting out of my comfort zone, and that's why I didn't love it. But now, like, I mean, again, not to toot my own horn, but I love every single song on this record. I'm very proud of this record. Like, because we got weird, we went in different directions. Everyone pushed each other and like moved directions. Yeah, this one, and essentially that it's just about like. So what do I say here in the beginning? Oh no, this is not the horror story. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's right.
Wait, is it?
It certainly sounded like what I got. Maybe it was because the song title a little bit too, but it felt like sort of like I don't know. It sort of felt like a malicious like sort of like speaking back to something that is like horrible in your own existence and like telling it to smile. I don't know. Like it felt like sort of like a revenge sadistic thing in it a little bit. Like
all right,
in like a cool way.
I can see that. Again, I need to listen to this record again, so I'm super professional.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But so essentially, this is like just trying to get over doubt. Like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, some of us do the whole like "fuck you, dude" in the mirror, like sick of looking at you. This is like, God, what am I doing with my life? Like, why do I have such doubt? Like, what everyone goes through, whether you like to admit it or not. Someone could have a full-fledged family and have a super high-paying job, no stress at all. And, like, they know their bills are paid. And, like, they still wake up and go, why didn't I try to, like, be a pickleball player? Like,
why didn't I do the thing that I was, like, really into when I was a kid? Or why didn't I, like existential crisis hits us all, right? Type deal. Yeah.
So it is a horror story. It's still a horror story.
It's the art house horror story, you know? Like I don't know if are you into horror movies? Like do you like that kind of Yeah. It's more of like this sort of A24 horror movie as opposed to like the Friday the 13th horror movie.
I just saw Parasite for the first time, and
what'd you think of it?
It was amazing.
It's so good. It's the best movie ever made.
I refuse to give it away. We can just talk about it, but that is a fear of mine of like another location. You know what I'm talking about? I'm kind of miming it.
Yeah. Yes.
So that fucked me up. And I was like, nah. So
that's one of those movies. That's one of those movies that every time I watch it, it fucks me up in a different way too. It's like
I only put it off because I'm a piece of shit and I have to watch movies while on my phone playing a game because that's where my ADD sits.
And it's subtitles, right? Like you don't.
Dude, I had to read the whole fucking thing. I was so mad. I was like, dude, that's why I put it off because I'm disgusting. But
classic
dude, then
American,
I did it.
You know.
Yeah, I was like, I can't look at my phone. I'm trying to have like 8 conversations right now.
I need my brain stimulated every 30 seconds of my waking life. Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so essentially, like, so I'm just going to go over the beginning. Like, I do the whole talking thing, and I'm like, who am I or I don't know who I am, what direction I'm going. And they're like, never mind, I know where I'm going. This is probably like the most positive song on the record. Like, this is how we lose the war in the back of our minds. we can't stand the abuse, so bite your tongue and smile wide, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny because Straight from the Path just released that Kubrick Stare song.
Kubrick Stare song, yeah.
And I was
Which
like,
I've
you
been listening to
motherfuckers.
nonstop.
Yeah. I was like, you fuckers like figured this out. Like, why didn't I think of that? That's so smart. Because I love Kubrick.
Yeah, whenever somebody does like a really clever pop culture reference like that, like in a cool way in lyrics, I should be impressed, but I just get mad because I didn't do it myself.
Sometimes I'll hesitate to listen to a record because I'm like, they're gonna do something that pisses me off in a good way.
Yeah, like they're gonna do something, and I'm just like, God damn it! Yeah, I know that band should be selling out arenas because they're way too good, but they're also way too polarizing. So it is what it is. But,
yeah.
No, great song. Again, what I like about it is when you get to the smile wide part in the chorus, you kind of do like these higher screams, and that like just it's kind of like it gets me in that sort of Stray vibe that I'm talking about, where you just want to punch something. And that's what I really, really like about it.
Good. I'm getting emotion out of people. That's what I want.
Yeah. In my car at 7:00 in the morning, going to teach children, I'm just like, oh, no, but
damn
like
kids.
From that, damn kids. Track 8, take it apart. Tell me anything you can tell me for this one.
Oh, so this is where I rip off Jesse. This song, like, in the chorus, like I'm doing the get apart and show me.
Mm-hmm.
That's full Killswitch ripoff. I'll admit it. But then, like, I incorporate my own bullshit, obviously.
No,
like,
you're pulling No, come on. So you're inspiration. You've got inspiration from Killswitch Engage.
Yeah, inspiration.
That's what we all got to tell ourselves when we do these types of songs,
I ripped it like a potato bag, baby. Potato chip bag. What am I saying? But yeah, dude, this might be like, shit, I have so many like favorites on this record, but this is up there. We play this one a lot, and like, it's weird. It'll be hit or miss, like, because it has the weird breakdown at the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like, and like we kind of talk about like taking it out because like the vibe's weird. You know what I mean? Like people.
Yeah. It's a little more unconventional maybe than some of the other songs you have on this. Like a lot of this record, in a good way, has like some very anthemic, big, kind of like again, not to reference the band millions and times over, but Killswitch Engage was always good at or not even just Killswitch, but like that era of metalcore in its heyday of the early 2000s was really good at like those kind of soaring choruses that you kind of even have that same vocal range that a lot of those guys would do for like a soaring chorus, and you got like a kind of gallopy breakdown, then you got a big chuggy breakdown, or you might have like a cool lead part or whatever the case may be. But like you guys, this song, I think it might have even been one previously on the record, kind of can do like kind of those cool off-putting kind of like stop you in your tracks transitions that I think is cool.
Yeah.
Like I like, it's kind of like more modern, you know what I mean? Like that's not something you would have heard from a lot of the more like in your face influences you have on this record. It's kind of like your modern take on this kind of sound that brings in sort of that modern metal like transition, that there's like this kind of stops you in your tracks. You're not sure like what the tempo is for a second or where it's
sometimes that's
from.
an issue. Yeah. Like, it's funny, everyone's like, dude, you guys are really tight, and I'm like, 10 a.m. practice on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Find a day.
Being professional.
That's the day.
Yeah.
And
I'm so sick of these songs because I've practiced them a million times, and that's where we're at. Yeah.
Like, now I can like sarcastically go over them, and everyone's like, can you just like take it seriously? And I'm like, no, I'm done.
How am I going to get through these if I do that?
The last practice before the show, we practiced the night before because we heard how Moontooth were sounding, and we were like, we should practice one more time before going.
Yeah.
And like Nick Lee, the guitarist of Moontooth, came out, and he was just like, yes. And I was like, finally, someone's like watching us. And like, even that's better than nobody. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is. Like, if I know someone's there, I'm gonna put effort in.
Yeah. You got a little bit of an audience to some degree, or whatever the case may be, right? Yeah. But did we? Yeah, we went over. Yeah, we went over that one already, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
On My Way Down was one that I thought was cool from you guys before you get to like the album ender, because it sort of feels like if Lost Becomes as a metal band is doing a rock song. You know what I mean? Like an anthemic rock song. You got the solo in there that sort of has like the 80s or 90s like arena rock tone to it while they're just like shredding the fuck out and all that kind of stuff. It feels like a very like energizing track, like musically. Is there anything you can kind of speak to for this one?
For On My Way Down, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got mixed up. I was reading the track listing because I still need to do that, even though I set it up.
It's almost like you've been overdosed by the song or by this album or something. Yeah.
And it's funny, I'll remember like live track listings. I'll be like, oh, here's the set list. Wait, with track listings this way, this is the set list. It kind of like fucks my left and right brain up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so On My Way Down, it's like a super tongue-in-cheek thing of like, I don't need any of this bullshit anymore. Like, give my enemies everything, give my loved ones everything. Like, I don't want these emotions anymore. I don't want this shit, like this stuff. Take my car, take my fucking TV, take my laptop, unless I'm not podcasting on it. And like, and I kind of reference that with the Take King. Like, it's funny, I kind of started writing it. This is very inside baseball. I wasn't going to give any of this away, but I kind of wrote it as a vampire.
Okay.
So, like, I was trying to get, like, in a mindset of, like, I'm not afraid to hang around and waste time because I have all the time in the world. I'm not worried about wasting time doing this band because, like, I'm a fucking vampire. I'm going to live forever. Technically not. But, like...
Well, it's sort of. You're immortal if you're a
sounds
vampire,
a
so you
little
don't get
corny.
murdered, you know? Yeah.
No,
Were you watching? Did you go watch? Nosferatu came out like 2 years after you wrote this, but were you watching like Reginald or what Remsfield or something, or what inspired that you...
Total What We Do in the Shadows, like
hell yeah,
which is like the super tongue-in-cheek side that
the movie or
like,
the TV show though. That's the real question.
The movie wasn't that great. I watched
the movie's not very.
Then went
I
to
tried
the movie
watching
and
the
I was
movie and I was like, oh my god, what is this?
Before you watch the show, you got to watch the movie so you don't have high hopes.
Yeah.
The movie was good, but like the show's better.
Sure
better.
It was. Yeah.
Show's better.
Agreed. That's funny
but
though.
Like,
yeah.
So not to be corny and like, I just had like that mental like, what if like, because essentially like a lot of people are like, dude, I'm so glad you're still doing this music thing. And I'm like, all right.
Bill? What do you mean?
Thanks for that fucking comment. Like,
yeah.
I appreciate you. Like, what are you doing this weekend? Playing with that band? Yeah. Like,
I'm doing my thing. Yeah.
I'd rather be doing what I love than regretting not doing it. That's
right.
Like, I don't know. I feel like art is kind of looked down upon, and this is kind of like the fuck you to everyone that kind of denies you of creating.
Not to get in the weeds on that a little bit, but, you know, as I talk too much about politics and stuff like that on here a lot, but I think it goes into philosophy as well. Like, I think a lot of people nowadays, especially with content being the way it is, like we're doing a podcast. That's content stuff you do that like, a band wouldn't have done 10 years ago. You know what I mean? That a lot of people view art in this sort of vein of like, unless you're, you know, making money from it, right? Or like unless you're doing it in some way that's like content creation type, or you're pulling in funds from this way or that way from your art, that like unless you do that to a certain level, it's surprising that you still do it, right? Where like the whole point of making art is that you enjoy making, you know what I mean? And like I think that's lost on so many people, especially in today's age, where like it used to be 20, 30 years ago, there'd be somebody 50 years old playing in a band that played at a bar, and like that was fine, that was cool, that was like a little thing you did, or that was, you know, you're still doing what you wanted to do. But now like so much in anybody's, and you get what you guys are doing is not a hobby. It's like a passion that you have, but like that it's all merited in the numbers. It's all merited in the commodification.
Yeah.
It's all merited in the capitalization of it all. And it's like,
I really love
or I'm making something that fucking rips. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's, you know what I'm saying?
like, oh, like, do you make money off of that? Like, I get a lot of that, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, maybe sometimes it's a hot dog and a
yeah.
handshake.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes,
but like a
sometimes
lot
it's
of the
good, sometimes
times,
it's not, but it's not the point, you know?
and then I'll be like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Like to a coworker, and they're like, just hanging out, like doing nothing. I'm like, oh, I'm playing a show if you want to come by. And they're like, I'm busy, and I'm like, dude, you don't have to like put the front up.
You don't have
Like,
to lie.
like, just tell me you don't want to go. Like, oh, maybe I'll come out. I'm like, that's a no. It's okay. Like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
but
I do think a lot of that is lost in like our, before we end this record here and all that. I think a little bit of that is lost with a lot of people, whether you're in like a more rural area like I am, or you know, you're in New York like you are, that people sort of, I mean, like people don't go out and do things anymore for the sake of doing, like people aren't like, you know, 30-year-olds don't go to shows, right? Like you said
No.
earlier, like
yeah,
30-plus-year-olds don't go to shows. And you know, at the same time, the expectation there is that somehow you are at all times making like a boatload of money from music, or it's not worth doing. And it's like, that's not
Yeah.
what art is. Like, that's not what passion is. That's not what like creativity
No.
is. And if we all did that, nobody would be painting, nobody would be doing graphic design, nobody would be making music. And it I don't know, it's something that like rubs me the wrong way. Not rubs me the wrong way, but like makes you kind of like look out at the world a lot with like what people's perspectives are on what somebody's like art venture is. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like I, you know, like I've had you on the podcast. This is the second time of you being on the podcast, like being fully candid. Like I think your band should be big. I think a lot of bands that I have on this podcast are underappreciated and are really, really fucking good and are better than some of the bigger bands that you see now that just follow trends or whatever the case may be. But like, it's not about that. It's about just people still being able to make what they want to make and enjoying it and being like, you're immersed in the fact that you're making this and that you're putting it
Yeah.
out, right? Because if you didn't like it, you wouldn't fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think
no,
that gets
exactly.
lost on a lot of people, especially at our age, you know?
Yeah. Like, and people kind of like people hear like us talking about, oh, our age, and it's not dirty to talk about how old you are. Like,
No.
someone recently came up to me and were like, oh, I thought you were like 25. And I was like, bitch, I'm 14. They're like, I'm young as hell. I just got gray in my beard. It's cool. I just know what I'm doing a little more. Like, and not to keep talking about this, but someone also recently told me, I was like, oh, like you're reading that book, like for work, like you're really into this. Like, I'm like, maybe that's your art, that's your passion. And he's like telling me like, oh no, I only read things to kind of benefit a career. Like I'm not going to read a book to enjoy it. I want to like make more money in this industry. And I'm like, that's the most heartbreaking fucking thing I've ever heard.
Could you imagine only doing things to advance your like career or your position wholly in your life? Reading books, like fucking like being knowledgeable on things, whatever the case may be, only for the dollar sign. Like to me, that
Yeah.
that's like you don't enjoy anything. It's a slog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like maybe like, so my dad's a mechanic. That is an art form. Like,
Yeah.
I can 100% agree that it's an art form. You're like building shit with your hands, like creating a lesson plan. It's an art form. Like you're putting work into this thing, molding it, and then giving it to someone else, and they're taking that thing and doing whatever they do with it. Like, but like a lot of the time, if you're not like creating legit art, you just feel dead inside. And I've seen it. Like I've seen it point blank. Like I've seen family, friends. Oh, like, wait, you're able to go out on Saturday and play a show? Like your fiance doesn't get mad at you? What are you fucking talking about?
It's like, no, she supports me. She thinks it's cool that I'm doing something I enjoy. Yeah, like
she owns her own hair spot, and like today I don't, you know what? I didn't even have time to talk to her. She went to work today. She's normally off. And I'm like, what were you doing? Like, it's fine. Take away from hanging out, like us hanging out. That's fine. If you want to do the thing that you care about, do it. And like,
yeah.
everybody's legit a crab in a bucket. Like, have
Well,
you ever
and
gone
I think
crabbing?
I think a lot of people think that everything needs to be commodified and monetized for it to be valuable. And I
Yeah.
think that we've really gotten to that point with art. And I think it's really, really kind of gross, you know? And I don't think
Go
it's gross. It's
viral.
like you got to go. Yeah. Like because of, it's like the same thing of like people will shit on bands for posting these different like little clips and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's what they feel like they have to do because like this is the
Yeah.
world that we're in, right? And
I
it's
mean,
like,
I'm stupid myself because I've made fun of bands. Like, some kids will be at shows just like trying to be a meme. And I'm like,
yeah, it's not real
okay,
life.
you're going super. I saw a kid, like, his pit style was doing cartwheels. Like, I watched him do like 8, like, legit, probably 36 cartwheels. And I know that's a weird number, but I started counting. But like, I was like, dude, like, when are you gonna stop? Like, represent yourself and be a style, but like, less is more. Like,
And
I don't
doing
know.
it for a video is a little much for me sometimes too. But
Yeah.
now we're getting to the level of us both growing way more gray hairs out of our beards.
Yeah. And I'm just like punching down at the generation after
as
us.
opposed to the
Like,
people that like overly commodify everything from these
Yeah.
corporations to make sure that art isn't real. But anyway, going to the last song on this record, and then we can kind of wrap things up here. Here and Now, which I thought was a great kind of exclamation point or period on the end of the record. Speak to anything from this, and then just kind of anything overarching you can say about the record to wrap things up here.
this is like a total love song. Everybody feels love. And I struggled like where we could put this on the record because it's such a different song. I was like, man, like, this doesn't fit second. It doesn't fit in the middle. Like, I wanted Blink Once at number 6 because like I had a weird like Slipknot reference in there. Like, I was like, this is our heretic anthem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And Here and Now, like, it's funny, like, bands in like from 2000 to 2005, Finch,
Mhm.
Finch they had What It Is to Burn at the end of What It Is to Burn. And like, not to say this is our What It Is to Burn, that song's massive, but like, I just wanted to like give a nod to the past track listing wise, because
Mhm.
this is a super catchy fucking song. Like, it should be number 1 technically, but I don't know. It's also just like the light at the end of the tunnel, because like technically with On My Way Down, I reference in Here and Now in a sense, like canceled all our plans just so we can stay for a little longer, because like it's a love song. I'm not afraid to spend time with the people I love, and they're not as afraid to spend time with me if they love me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of vague, and I'm sorry, but
No, that's fine. Not every song needs some like poignant,
Yeah.
like, not everything needs like a poignant message. But I know I felt that way. I was like in a good way surprised when the record ended, and I was like, oh, that was the ender. Like that was in a way, because like you said, it felt like it could have been a starter of a record, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like when people don't. I tend to like really, really, really love the enders of a lot of albums. And oftentimes when I don't, it's because they throw in some somber, like melancholy thing at the end. It's the metal band's acoustic song at the end of the record or something. But it's either some long, epic, 6-minute long song when the rest of the band's album is like 3 minutes or whatever the case may be. Or it's the case of this one when I really enjoy it, where it's like, it's hitting just as hard as the beginning. And that means you could cycle back to the very first and it would still have that energy. And that's really cool. I think the fact that this record is 10 songs, it doesn't outwear its welcome. Hit all the kind of different sides of the band in a lot of ways while still keeping every song very like energetic in its own way, kind of definitely showcasing your vocals in a lot of different ways. It's good for a full-length record to like clock in at about 31 minutes too. People don't outwear their welcome with it, right? And I think this record, I hope this record like really does a lot of good things for you guys, because I think it really like it gives an homage while still sounding modern. Gives an homage to like those records that you love, that you would listen to over and over again, whether it was Live or Just Breathing, or all these different like major milestones of anyone that's listened to metal music over the years. Like even like Slipknot, right? Like some of the different records they would put out in their heyday of like, you would just
Volume
want it
3.
to be on repeat. Yeah. Instead of being on Spotify, you'd be listening to it on your fucking Walkman and ready for it to start over again, and you'd love it. And I think this record does that in a lot of different ways. So again, I should have asked this before. Do you go by Tony or Anthony when
Both.
you both? Okay, so I wasn't off base when I said Anthony over and over
good.
again.
Yeah.
Anthony, thanks so much for going over this record. Again, Sonder is out now. It came out in late January 21st, so just a couple weeks ago. Just a couple last things before we wrap up here. Just anything else you want to say about the record, where people can find the band, and then pick a song from the record to end.
Hold on 1 second. My phone died. What? You can I should remember our Instagram handle.
It's Loss Becomes something. It's just Lost Becomes.
It's Lost Becomes. That's us on all socials. We really don't go on Twitter, X anymore, because I don't have the space for it on my phone.
Yeah. And it's a fucking shit show anyway.
Yeah, like, I don't know, whatever's going on.
Gotta go to Blue Sky, dude. That's where I'm at. So gotta go over there.
Dude, it's just another
one more
app.
I know.
Like, I had Threads for a while, and I'm like, man,
dog shit. It's dog shit.
This
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. It's just
At
one
one
more thing
point
to
it was
pull your
cool,
brain
but-
cells. Yeah.
So, Lost Becomes, check us out on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you stream music, like Amazon Music, we're there. Come catch us at a show. We're playing Brooklyn, 3-7, Brooklyn, New York, Woodshop. And then 4-4, we're playing Manassas, Virginia, the Salisbury Center. And then the 4-5, we're playing Richmond, Virginia. And then 6-5, we're playing Potsdam, NY. And 6-6, we're playing Poughkeepsie, New York. You can find... So right now we have t-shirts.
And Chicago soon, right?
Dude, we're working on it. We're working on it. Like, I need to get to Chicago. Well, we need to also.
Just
and
for the
when we're
deep
there,
dish, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like I had a family that lived in Indiana, and we took the drive to Chicago, and I was like, hey, this is kind of my city, but I don't think I can deal with the cold.
It's the best, though. It's the best.
You want to hear something fucked up? I like deep dish more than New York. Like,
you know what? I
New
gotta
York
tell you
style.
though, this is one thing we're wrapping up the slowest way possible. But one thing a lot of people don't understand about Chicago pizza is Chicago people don't eat deep dish pizza, really, right?
Why?
Because it's like 10,000 calories in a slice. You can't just
but like
it's a special occasion thing. You know what I mean? What you get you get the Chicago thin crust. The Chicago thin crust is fantastic.
See, another reason to go.
The rectangle pieces, man. You do it. You got to get it. You know.
Plus, I got to go to Portello's.
Yes,
right?
you do. Yep.
With
yep. There's one right down the street from me. Yeah.
God
It's so
damn, I'd be massive. But
I think I would lose like 30 pounds if I moved away from Illinois. But I digress.
I don't know. Like, even out here, we have Brian's Sandwich Shop that, like, I go once a month, and I feel like that's not enough to support my friend. But, dude, Mission is fucking amazing. But, yeah, so Lost Becomes, you can find... So right now we have t-shirts, CDs, and the pre-order for the vinyl is up. There's the hand wax ones still up. And then we also have a $35 option. That's a cheaper option. Like, I felt bad just having the expensive ones up, but
yeah.
that was all we had for the moment. But right now we got everything there. We have hot sauce, our Blink Once hot sauce that Brian, he handcrafted that. And then, so right now, have you seen videos or photos of us recently from live shows?
I have, like, I always look through bands' socials before I do things. But
it's okay if you didn't notice, but we have tracksuits, like full track, like Adidas tracksuits. I should have wore
like
it.
Full corn coated.
Yeah, but it has like Lost Becomes embroidered on it.
How
and
have
then
I
you're
not
able to
seen
get
this on your socials?
like
what the heck?
We kind of hinted at it because like I don't think it's ready to put up yet. It's gonna be a pre-order item, but you can get your name on the back. Like I have my last name. Everyone in the band has their last names. We argued about it for a full month before we decided. It was either nicknames or last names, and we went with last names. So
I love that so much. That's so sick.
And now that's our stage gear for when we play shows, because we don't want to figure out what T-shirt to wear.
Well,
But
you know what? It's a uniform, right? Like it's
Yeah.
one more thing that can kind of like separate you from the other bands and whatever else. More iconic,
it's also just
right?
it's super tongue in cheek. Like we're not we
Yeah,
all look
yeah.
super Italian, even though my bassist is super Puerto Rican and Brian's super
just
Asian.
fucking kind of like doing a play on like the new metal vibes, but also like
Yeah.
being meta about it a little bit, right? Yeah.
And now we're like, everyone's like, oh, when are you going to take the jacket off? And I'm like, it's going to be 2 songs in. And then like friends will be like, dude, just wait. Just wait till like the 3rd song. And then I just see how long I can keep it on for the remainder of the shows that we have.
bullets the whole time. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
it sucks.
I
Biggest
bet,
mistake ever saying yes.
It reminds you of like it's like the Slipknot guys, right? We're like, we'll wrap up here, but we're like, you would find out the like Clown when they first started with the real tracksuits and the real just like fucking Halloween mask on. He was just like throwing up in the mask while they're playing and shit. That's called dedication, is what that is.
Yeah, baby.
But
yeah, so
again,
Lost Becomes, pre-order the vinyl.
and that'll all be in the show notes below as well.
Sweet. Shout out to Silent Pendulum, Sean the Butcher, Unchained. Catch us at a show. Come hang out. Say what's up after the show. Not before.
And not before this, right?
Come up to me. Up to me anytime. I'll deal with it.
No. Actually, Anthony's the biggest dick on the planet. No, but I'm just kidding. But
Not wrong.
Last thing, pick a song. It's got to be from the record, obviously. But what song do you want people to hear if they've never heard the band before? I haven't heard the record yet. What song should we kick them out with?
I'm going to be super annoying and make you choose. You pick your favorite one.
Well,
I trust you.
My favorite one is Smile Wide. So
I believe in it.
We will go with
that.
Smile Wide. And maybe I'll also, just for the promo aspect of it, I'll throw in a little intro with Broken Mirrors, just because people got to get a little bit of the taste of you and Jesse at the same time on the choruses and things like that. That's pretty cool.
My boy Jesse.
But yeah, we'll play Smile Wide at the end of this. Again, Anthony Copozzi of Lost Becomes out of New York. Thanks so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, dude. I'll see you on the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Every morning I wake up, I have no idea where I'm going. Who I am, what direction I'm heading.
Never mind, I know where I'm going. Lost it for a minute or two. That's fine, 'cause we lose ourselves from time to time. Getting lost in it again. I can't stay here. I can't stay here. This is how we lose the war. In the back is